Have you ever looked in the mirror one morning and thought, where did that spark go? It's not just the wrinkles or the silver hair. It's deeper, something you feel in your bones. Maybe it starts with stiff knees that weren't stiff before, or a brain fog that lingers longer than you'd like. For me, it wasn't one big moment. It was a slow slide, losing energy, strength, and that feeling of aliveness I used to take for granted. But something changed when I turned 70. Not because of some miracle supplement or pricey wellness retreat. Believe me, I've tried a few. What changed my life were 10 simple foods. Real foods. No added sugar, almost no carbs, but full of the kind of quiet, steady power my body had been craving for years. And today, I want to share them with you. Not as a doctor, not as a nutritionist, but as someone who's walked this path and found a few lights along the way. Let's start with something unexpected. Something that sat ignored in the back of my fridge for years until I realized it might just be the most healing vegetable I could eat. Cabbage. Yes, cabbage. Plain, humble, old-fashioned cabbage. The kind our parents used to boil until the house smelled for days. I never thought much of it until I started struggling with bloating, low energy, and unpredictable digestion in my late 60s. I tried expensive probiotics, cut out dairy, even flirted with fasting. But the game changer? A bowl of sautéed cabbage with garlic and olive oil. Cabbage is loaded with fiber, vitamin C, vitamin K, and something most people forget about: antioxidants that help calm inflammation, especially in the gut. And when your gut is out of balance, everything feels off. Your mood, your sleep, your appetite. Cabbage helped me feel more grounded in my own body. And it did so without the sugar crashes or the heavy, sluggish feeling starchy vegetables sometimes leave behind. And here's something no one told me. Cabbage has almost zero sugar and hardly any carbs. So it gives your body the nutrients it needs without the blood sugar roller coaster that makes your joints ache and your brain fog over. Whether you roast it into crispy wedges, eat it raw in a slaw, or simmer it gently in soup, cabbage is like a quiet friend. Unassuming, but always there when you need it. Now, if cabbage is the quiet type, walnuts are the wise ones. They might be small, but don't let that fool you. I started eating walnuts during a time when I was struggling with memory lapses. You know that moment when you walk into a room and can't remember why? I brushed it off at first. Oh, that's just aging, I'd say. But deep down, I didn't want to settle. I wanted to feel sharp again. Not perfect, just present. That's when I came across the benefits of walnuts. These wrinkled little nuggets are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, specifically the kind that support brain health, reduce inflammation, and help you stay focused. But what really won me over was how simple they were. No cooking, no prep, just a handful a day. And they do more than boost your brain. Walnuts also help keep your blood sugar steady, curb late-night cravings, and support your heart. I've replaced cookies and crackers with walnuts, and I don't miss the snacks at all. Some nights I'll pair them with a little Greek yogurt or toss a few into a salad. Other times I just keep a small dish on the counter to grab whenever I walk by. They're one of those small habits that doesn't feel like much. Until one day you realize your brain isn't as foggy, your mood isn't as up and down, and you're not standing in front of the fridge wondering why you're there. Which brings me to the third food. And this one? Well, I used to push it to the side of the plate. Literally. Spinach. I used to see spinach as boring, just that soggy green stuff people pretended to enjoy because it was good for you. But everything changed when I learned how much power those leaves actually carry, especially after 60. When you're tired for no reason, when you find yourself out of breath after the simplest task, or when your muscles feel weak even though you haven't done much, spinach might be exactly what your body is asking for. Why? Because it's loaded with iron, magnesium, vitamin C, and folate, all nutrients that help oxygenate your blood, support your nerves, and recharge your energy. Spinach is like nature's multivitamin, only tastier and easier to digest. I add it to eggs in the morning, toss it into soup at lunch, or sauté it with garlic for dinner. You don't need to eat mountains of it. Just a small handful here and there adds up in a big way. And the best part? Almost no carbs, no sugar, just clean, gentle fuel for a tired body. If spinach is the power leaf, then Greek yogurt is the great restorer. Now, let me be clear, not just any yogurt. I'm talking about plain, full-fat Greek yogurt, the kind without fruit at the bottom or artificial vanilla flavoring. Those are sugar bombs in disguise. But true Greek yogurt? It's thick, creamy, and packed with protein that your muscles absolutely need, especially as we age. One thing I've learned the hard way is this. After 60, muscle isn't just about strength. It's about survival. Muscle protects your bones, keeps you from falling, and helps you stay independent. And Greek yogurt gives your muscles what they need to stick around. It's also loaded with probiotics, those friendly bacteria that help your gut do its job. When I started eating Greek yogurt regularly, I noticed something I didn't expect. I felt lighter, not in weight necessarily, but in digestion. Less bloating, fewer stomach upsets, a sense that things were, well, working again. And it's so easy to dress up. I add a sprinkle of cinnamon, a spoonful of crushed walnuts, or even a few slices of avocado for a savory twist. You can eat it as a snack, a breakfast, or even a light dinner when nothing else sounds good. If I could go back and talk to my 50-year-old self, I'd say, don't wait for your body to scream at you. Start with small things. Start with what's on your plate. Because that's exactly what changed my life at 70. Not a magic cure, not a strict diet, but simple choices made with care. And these first 4 foods? They were just the beginning. You know what's funny? Some of the foods that helped me feel younger were the same ones I used to wrinkle my nose at. Foods I passed by in the store without a second thought. And sardines? Well, they topped that list. Let's be honest, sardines aren't exactly the most glamorous food. They come in a can, they have a smell, and you don't see them in trendy restaurants or diet magazines. But when I finally gave them a fair shot, they surprised me in every way. I first tried sardines not out of curiosity, but out of frustration. My joints were aching, my mornings were slow, and I was tired of feeling stiff. I read that sardines were rich in omega-3s and vitamin D, both things my doctor had been telling me to get more of. Still, I hesitated. Canned fish? Really? But here's what I discovered. Sardines are small, mighty, and absolutely packed with the kind of nutrition most of us over 60 need, especially when it comes to inflammation. After just a couple of weeks of eating them once or twice a week, I noticed my hands didn't ache quite so much in the morning. My knees felt less swollen, and I had a little more spring in my step. They're full of natural calcium from their tiny soft bones, which you can eat, by the way. No pills, no chalky supplements, just real, absorbable calcium that goes straight to work supporting your bones. And that's important because bone loss creeps up quietly after 60. One day you're walking fine, and the next you're afraid of slipping in the shower. Sardines are also low in mercury and affordable, something that matters when you're trying to eat well without breaking the bank. I like them mashed with a little mustard or mixed into a salad with lemon juice and herbs. Once you get past the idea of them, they're surprisingly satisfying. Now let's talk about something most of us have eaten our entire lives, but maybe misunderstood. Eggs. For decades, eggs got a bad rap. Cholesterol, they said. Watch out for the yolk, they warned. So I switched to egg whites, just like everyone else. And you know what happened? I got tired. My energy dipped. I was hungry again an hour later. It wasn't until I went back to eating the whole egg, yolk and all, that I finally understood what I'd been missing. Eggs are like nature's perfect package. Inside that little shell is everything your body needs to rebuild, especially after 60. High-quality protein that supports muscles and keeps your metabolism humming. Choline to help your brain focus and your memory stay sharp. Vitamin D to help you absorb calcium and keep your bones strong. And none of that magic is in the white, it's in the yolk. So if you've been skipping eggs out of habit or fear, let me gently encourage you to bring them back into your kitchen. Not just once a week, make them a regular part of your meals. Scrambled with spinach, poached over vegetables, or turned into a hearty omelet. They're affordable, easy to cook, and, let's be honest, comforting. There's something about a warm egg breakfast that just feels right. And if eggs are the classic, then olive oil is the quiet star. There's a reason people in the Mediterranean live so long and age so well, and olive oil is a big part of it. It's not just the flavor, though that peppery richness is hard to beat. It's what it does for your heart, your joints, and your brain. When I started using extra virgin olive oil instead of seed oils or margarine, something shifted. My food tasted better, sure, but I also noticed fewer afternoon energy crashes. My skin didn't feel as dry. Even my mood seemed steadier. Olive oil is full of healthy fats, real fats, that help your body absorb vitamins, reduce inflammation, and keep your cells strong from the inside out. And you don't need a lot. A tablespoon or two a day, drizzled over cooked greens, stirred into soup, or used to roast vegetables, it goes a long way. Just make sure it's the good kind. Cold-pressed, extra virgin, and stored in a dark glass bottle to protect those antioxidants. I once met a woman in her 80s who swore by taking a spoonful of olive oil each morning. "It keeps everything moving," she told me with a wink. At the time, I thought it was a little odd. Now, I'm starting to see the wisdom. And speaking of food that surprised me, chicken thighs were another revelation. For years, I stuck with chicken breast because I thought it was healthier. Less fat, right? But the truth is, I wasn't enjoying it. It was dry, bland, and left me feeling unsatisfied. Then one day, out of sheer convenience, I grabbed a pack of bone-in, skin-on thighs. And wow, the flavor, the tenderness, it felt like a real meal. And more importantly, it kept me full. Turns out, dark meat chicken has more iron and zinc than white meat. That means better immune support, better wound healing, and more steady energy. And when cooked properly, with the skin crisp and golden, it satisfies cravings without the need for sugary sauces or heavy sides. The fat in chicken thighs isn't the enemy. In fact, after 60, your body needs that fat to support hormones, nourish your brain, and fuel your joints. And when paired with leafy greens or roasted vegetables, it's a meal that tastes like comfort, but fuels you like medicine. One night, after a long day, I made a simple tray of chicken thighs with rosemary and olive oil. I sat down, took a bite, and almost sighed out loud. It reminded me of Sunday dinners growing up. Warm, familiar, grounding. Sometimes the healthiest foods aren't the trendy ones. They're the ones that make you feel at home in your own body again. That's the kind of eating I believe in now. Not restriction, not perfection, just nourishment. Real, flavorful, comforting food that honors this stage of life and helps you feel strong, steady, and satisfied. Because that's what these foods did for me. They didn't just change my blood pressure or cholesterol numbers. They changed how I felt in the morning. They changed how I moved through the day. They brought back a kind of joy I didn't even realize I'd lost. And the best part? There are still a few more to come. There's something deeply comforting about knowing that your meals are helping you, not just feeding you, but truly healing you. That every bite is doing a little bit of quiet work behind the scenes, keeping your body stronger, your mind clearer, and your days just a little brighter. And that brings me to one of the most surprising stars of all, the avocado. Now, I'll admit, when I was younger, the idea of eating something called a fatty fruit sounded like a one-way ticket to weight gain. But we've learned so much since then. And after turning 70, I've come to appreciate that not all fats are created equal. In fact, some fats are exactly what our aging bodies need. Avocados are full of monounsaturated fats, the kind that love your heart, support your brain, and help reduce inflammation. And here's the kicker. They're low in sugar, incredibly low in carbs, and filled with fiber, which helps regulate digestion in the gentlest way possible. I used to struggle with constipation, something no one likes to talk about, but so many of us deal with quietly. Once I added half an avocado to my daily meals, things just started moving again, naturally, and without discomfort. And there's something else that surprised me. Avocados have more potassium than bananas. And potassium, that's the mineral that helps keep blood pressure in check, prevents cramps, and supports your heart rhythm. I eat mine right out of the shell with a sprinkle of sea salt and a squeeze of lemon. No prep, no fuss, just smooth, creamy, satisfying nourishment that makes my body say, thank you. The ninth food that changed my life after 70 is one that feels like a celebration every time I eat it. Wild-caught salmon. Now, I don't mean the kind that's been farmed and dyed pink in a factory. I'm talking about the real stuff. Salmon from cold, clean waters, full of rich flavor and real omega-3s. If avocados are gentle healers, salmon is the bold repairman. It swoops in to calm inflammation, feed your brain, and support every cell in your body. There was a time when I'd get this sharp pain in my shoulder that wouldn't let up. I tried stretching, heat packs, even gave up carrying groceries for a while. But it wasn't until I started eating salmon twice a week, pan-seared in olive oil with garlic and lemon, that something began to shift. That deep ache, it softened. And more than that, I noticed my focus returning. I'd sit down to read and actually remember what I read. I'd go for a walk and feel light on my feet again. Salmon isn't just food, it's medicine in the tastiest form. The omega-3s help lubricate joints, strengthen the heart, and sharpen mental clarity. It's also packed with high-quality protein and a powerful antioxidant called astaxanthin, which helps protect your skin and eyes from aging. So yes, it tastes amazing, but it's also quietly working behind the scenes to keep you steady, strong, and sharp. And that brings us to the final food on my list, the one that almost didn't make the cut. Not because it's not powerful, but because I almost forgot about it. Funny how the most nourishing things can sometimes go unnoticed when life gets busy. That food is not a fruit, not a grain, not a leafy green. It's consistency. Because here's the truth that no one told me when I first started this journey. It's not the one-time changes that matter most. It's the little decisions you make every day, the habits you build quietly, even when no one's watching. Whether it's choosing an egg over a pastry, adding olive oil instead of reaching for the butter tub, or eating salmon instead of something frozen in a box. Each choice sends a message to your body. I still care. I've met people in their 70s, 80s, even 90s, who have more energy than folks half their age. And do you know what they all have in common? Not perfect genetics, not miracle pills, not expensive gadgets. They have routines that honor their bodies and fuel them with real food. Food that doesn't spike their sugar. Food that doesn't leave them groggy. Food that supports who they are now, not who they were 30 years ago. So if you're watching this and thinking, but I've already done too much damage, or it's too late for me to change, let me stop you right there. It's never too late. I don't care if you're 60, 70, or 95. If you have a plate in front of you, you have a chance to nourish your future. The foods I've shared with you, cabbage, walnuts, spinach, Greek yogurt, sardines, eggs, olive oil, chicken thighs, avocados, and wild-caught salmon, aren't trendy. They're not flashy. They're just the kind of quiet, healing companions that walk with you through this chapter of life and say, let's keep going. You don't need to overhaul your diet overnight. You don't need to cut out everything you love. Just add a few things in. Be kind to yourself. Make one better choice today than you did yesterday. That's how you build a life that feels good again. Not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually. And if there's one message I want to leave you with, it's this. Your body isn't giving up on you. It's waiting for you to come back to it. So try the cabbage, sprinkle the walnuts, crack open an egg, choose foods that make you feel alive, not just full. You'll be amazed at what happens when you feed yourself not just with calories, but with care. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which one of these foods are you curious about? Is there something you've already added to your routine that's made a difference in how you feel? Share it in the comments. I read every single one, and your story might just inspire someone else. And if you found this video helpful, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. We talk a lot here about living well, no matter what age the calendar says. Here's to your strength, your clarity, and your joy. You've still got so much life ahead. Let's fuel it with purpose.